17. Re-entering the waterway to Dredge's hideout proved easier than expected. No one gave the group a second look, too occupied with gossiping about the latest scandal, Lord Utican's arrest. Back in the waterway, Shay grabbed hold of Cal's arm, waiting until Jord and Quentin were out of earshot before speaking. Cal, there's something you should know, she said, her tone serious. She reached into her jacket, pulled out a folded letter, and handed it to him. Cal eyed her, her grim expression urging caution as he accepted it. He scanned the letter, skimming over its finer points until a name gave him pause. His attention jerked from the letter to Shay. Her eyes were locked on the floor, sensing the weight of what he'd just read. Cal returned to the letter and read it in full. Lord Utican, the people of the Embers cannot thank you enough. The eruption took so much from all of us, but with your help, we have started to rebuild. Many lives were lost that day, each of them a friend. If there is ever anything a humble tavern master such as myself can do for you, then please say the word. I'm at your disposal. Dural Bagson. P.S. You needn't worry about Leif. His condition is stable. I will make sure he is taken good care of. Cal stared at the letter, his mind numb, fingertips tingling. After a long moment, he handed it back to Shay. He's alive, Cal. Her voice was quiet and deliberate. Leif is alive. She took the letter but didn't move closer. Cal was too stunned to speak. He'd never dared hope that anyone from his past had survived. Artie had looked into the matter for him, but the initial reports had been bleak. Everyone had been told the Embers was gone, that half of Igni had been erased. But some of it had survived. Some of his old life had survived. A wave of nausea washed over him. His chain scarf pulsed as he sagged against the wall, knees too weak to hold him. What do you want to do? Shay crouched beside him. Do? His voice was barely a whisper. Yeah. Do you want to go back? To Igni? There's no one would blame you for leaving, Cal. He paused, imagined returning to the Embers, embracing Leif, and rebuilding his life. Rebuilding the orphanage, the chaos, and the warmth that it had once held. For the briefest moment, he saw himself taking Leif's place, teaching, guiding a new generation of littles, just as Prissa was trying to do. But then the guilt stabbed through him, sharp as any blade. He couldn't go back. He couldn't become what Leif was, what Prissa had tried to be before he dragged her back into his mess. No, he was a poison. The last few hours had proved that much. I can't go back, he said, pushing himself off the wall. Why not? Shay asked. I'm not who I was then. Leif is better off without me in his life. You don't know that. Don't I? Cal snapped. Think about what we just did, Shay. What I just did. We finally hear of a Uden who's willing to stand up to the Davins, to actually help people. And what do? We frame him just so we can survive a few more days. Shay hung her head. His words were cruel, but true. We're supposed to be protecting people, not throwing them into danger just so we can make a deal with scum like Dredge. You think I don't know that? Shade's voice trembled as she glared at him, her frustrations boiling over. You think I'm proud of what we're doing? Of what we tell ourselves we have to do? The warble in her voice betrayed how close she was to breaking. You act like you're the only one with a right to be angry. Well, you're not. What exactly do you have to be angry about? Cal knew he shouldn't push. He knew he was wrong, but he didn't care. You, Cal, I have you. Shay didn't back down as he loomed over her. Years of brooding and pushing people away, pushing me away. You blame yourself for something that you couldn't have stopped. You're not the only one who feels guilty. Watch it, he growled. No, she barked back, unshaken by his rising anger. I'm done babying you. I'm done with your self pity. You hide behind your guilt because it's easier than facing the truth. You're just a coward who wants everyone to feel sorry for him. Her face was flushed, tears streaming down her cheeks. Fuck you! She shoved him hard in the chest. Cal's muscles tensed, his palms slick with sweat. The old fury that had kept him going for so long rose, but the words wouldn't come. He was too tired to fight with her, too tired to be this person anymore. Jord appeared from around the corner, Quentin close behind. I heard shouting, Jord said, concern etching his face. Is everything... His voice trailed off as he took in Shay's puffy eyes and Cal's rigid stance. Cal exhaled sharply, dropping his head before meeting Jord's gaze. We're fine. Just... He didn't finish. Couldn't finish. Pushing past Jord and Quentin, he avoided their eyes and strode down the corridor. His footsteps echoed against the waterway's dark stone, the dull thuds mingling with the squelch of sludge underfoot. He walked until he was alone, or at least far enough to pretend he was. Cal stood silently beside the group, shame coiled around his chest like a snake squeezing the life out of its prey. In front of him, Dredge waffled on about partnerships and the benefits of understanding good business. But Cal didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to rest, to sit in his room at the hideout with his thoughts and whatever bottle he could get his hands on. Maybe she was right. Maybe he was a coward. He shook his head, huffing as helplessness crept in. Am I disturbing you, Chainbreaker? Dredge's voice sliced through the courtyard, all attention now on Cal. Only Shay refused to glance his way. Cal had hurt her, had been hurting her for a while. She had every right to be angry with him. The realization sat like a stone in his gut. No response? Dredge tutted. Then kindly keep your huffing to yourself. The adults are discussing the survival of your little rebellion. Cal bit back his retort. Instead, he nodded and slumped onto a nearby table, content to be as unimportant to the conversation as possible. Now, where were we? Dredge said, turning his attention back to Jord. Our weapons. Ah, yes. Dredge's smile curled even further. I took the liberty of delivering several crates to your hideout already. I even threw in a few of the prefect's gift-dampening collars for good measure. He jabbed a finger toward the crucified fingers above. You never know when you might need to subdue a dangerous foe. Jord bowed. We appreciate your cooperation. These weapons will ensure the rebellion continues to have a fighting chance. This has been delightful, Dredge said. But now that our business is concluded, I must ask that you leave my little kingdom. I hear a seat has just opened up on the Select Council. Cal's chest sank. By now, Lord Udican was likely holed up in some cell, being tortured for information he didn't possess. Then we shall take our leave, George said, inclining his head. Wait, Shay said, stepping forward, arms folded across her chest. You said the weapons were delivered to our hideout. How did you know where to find it? Dredge's ever-present smirk curled. Cal's hand shifted to the hilt of his dagger. A scan of the parapets above showed only crucified bodies. No guards. No crossbows. Something was wrong. Darla's expression caught his eye. Her snarl, the twitch of her arms. All signs of pent-up violence looking for, pleading for, release. But that wasn't what set Cal's teeth on edge. Cal clapped his hands, walking toward the group. Cal's fingers clasped tight around the dagger's hilt. One wrong move from Dredge, and he would strike. Oh, you, my dear, are shrewder than your beauty lets on, Dredge purred, inches from Shay. It would be easy for Cal to let his dagger fly, but Dredge wasn't the threat. His chain scar pulsed, a dull ache spreading through his fatigued muscles. He gripped the old wound with his free hand, pressed his fingers into the scarred flesh in an attempt to loosen the ache. It's my business to know all that happens within the walls of our fine city. The comings and goings of both ally and enemy alike, Dredge continued. And which are we? Shay asked. Dredge clutched his chest in mock offense. Why, friends, of course. You have given my back a significant scratch. It's only right that I do the same for you. You can trust me. Shay's eyes twitched as she glared at Dredge. Speaking of friends. Dredge turned to Cal, ignoring the dagger in his hand. I have a question for my new favorite. Tell me, boy, who were your parents? The question caught Cal off guard. His chain scarf flared. Don't know, he gritted out. Raised in an orphanage, remember? No knowledge of who they might have been. Cal shook his head. Curious. Pray tell me, who ran this den of darling miscreants? What's it to you? Cal replied. Mentioning Leif or the orphanage to someone like Dredge would be a betrayal. Dredge smiled. Mere curiosity is all. Just two friends getting to know one another better. His gaze dropped, and he nodded toward Cal's white-knuckled grip on his forearm. Trouble? None of yours? Suit yourself. Dredge shrugged and sauntered back to his seat. After a heavy silence, Jord bowed again and led the group back toward the waterway. Quentin followed Jord, smirking his annoying smirk. Shay spun away, not looking at Cal as she passed. Cal sighed and joined his cohorts. The deeper they walked into the tunnel, the more intense the pain became. What had started as a dull ache now felt like a white-hot needle slicing its way through his muscles. He groaned, bracing himself against the filthy wall as the pain reached his shoulder. Cal. Shay spun on the spot, any trace of her frustration with him absent. What's wrong? The scar. I think. Ugh! The memory hit him. The same pain had happened years ago, on a mission he and Shay had barely escaped from. Cal forced himself upright, breathing hard. Shay, they're here. He stood in the center of the tunnel and drew both blades. Shay fell beside him, her dagger ready, her brand glowing. What are you doing? Jord asked, Confusion spread clear across his face. "Who is here?" Shay turned back to Jord, her voice hard as steel. "Inquisitors."